Welcome to the Migjorn area of the Camí de Cavalls, an area characterized by the limestone and porous geological materials of the Miocene sloping down to the sea. Menorca has two geologically distinct areas, the north, called Tramontana, and the south, or Migjorn. In the south you will find many areas with sandstone, limestone, streams, ravines, and abundant vegetation. The landscape is dominated by shades of white, grey or green, which contrast with the north coast of the island. Its terrain is marked by low cliffs and gullies fed by streams, which result in wetlands or dunes at the coastline, along with coves and beaches of fine white sand. The Migjorn route of the Camí de Cavalls is composed of 10 sections, ranging from stretch number 11, which starts in Ciutadella, to stretch number 20, which ends in Marne Harbour. In this audio guide, we will explain the heritage, landscape, and natural elements we will find along the way. In the area of Migjorn, we can enjoy the coastal and interior sections, the biodiversity of the landscape, and the flora and fauna which, among other things, have made Menorca worthy of being declared a biosphere reserve by UNESCO in 1993. Of the 19 natural areas of special interest that comprise the reserve, we will find 9 on the south of the island. Along the Camí de Cavalls, we will be able to visit all of these années, as they are in coastal areas and gullies. The Migjorn zone is a flat region, slightly protected from the wind, and is made up of soft and permeable rocks, making it easy to dig wells and find water. The result is a highly humanized landscape, with areas of crops and pastures surrounded by dry stone walls, alongside areas with little vegetation and very thin eroded soils. In summer, the cultivated fields of the gorges remain green in the middle of a landscape burnt by the sun. In Menorca, the coastal seabeds are densely covered in oceanic Posidonia, incorrectly called seaweed. These seabeds are host to all kinds of fish, invertebrates, mollusks, small crustaceans, and even corals. It is a marine plantation that, once dead, makes a natural barrier and prevents the erosion of beaches. Wetlands are less frequent in the Mid-South, as the water infiltrates more easily because of the permeability of the ground. The cycle of water masses in Menorca varies greatly depending on the time of year, and in many cases is a sheet of water in autumn, an increase of green vegetation in winter, an explosion of flowers in spring, and an almost dry look in summer. In Menorca there is a conservation project for temporary ponds, which is part of the European programme LIFE, to preserve and protect species which can only be found in these ecosystems. The vegetation in the south is particularly marked by the rural mosaic landscape of wild olive woods, most common in ravines and fields, creating a favourable environment for many species. On the cliffs of Calamporter, the endemic shrub Menorcan daphne grows, and on the coastline junipers grow. However, the south coastal vegetation consists of only 3 of the 24 flora microreserves, which contain about 1,200 species. These microreserves were created by a network of protected areas of threatened native flora within the framework of the European project Life Nature. In the south, duna plant species abound, such as beach grass, sea thistle, lily of the beach, reeds and low shrubs such as heather and rosemary. One of the best known and most common endemic plants in this region is the pine d'Anyurens, which is found in the pine forest of Talis. The fauna of Migjorn is important, especially in spring and autumn, when migratory birds nest on the cliffs and canyons. The ravines of Binigaus, Llucalari, Galgendà, Santana, Savall, Desbec, and Calamporter are all places where you can observe these birds. In the meadows of Canessias, Son Bou, Lavall, Algayarens, and Bella Vista, Son Saura, aquatic species can be found. These are all areas of additional protection known as ZEPA, Special Protection Areas for Birds. Of a total of 15 in Menorca, 6 are in Migjorn. Section number 11, from Ciutadella to Cap d'Artruig. Setting out from the centre of Ciutadella, we will reach the tiny beaches of Cala de Bollador. Following the paved road, we will go across the urbanised beaches of Sa Caleta d'Angúries and Sant Andrea, until we arrive at Cala Blanca. There, from Punta Rafalera, the sunsets are very special, and at its sandy cove we will discover a pre-talaiotic navetta. The itinerary enters into the stretch of coastline of the ANE ME15 until we reach Cap d'Artruig. The estimated time of the journey on foot, stopping at the most interesting points, is 5 hours, with a distance of 13.2 kilometres. The going is easy. Section number 12, from Cap d'Artruig to Cala Turqueta. We will start from the lighthouse on the nearest point to Menorca, following through Calambosc and the port known as El Lago to reach Esplajals and Son Xuriguer. Continuing east, we will find Cala Parajals, and beyond that the Cova des Pardals, Son Vell, and some prehistoric caves. The route continues to Son Saura, where we will enjoy its dune system and the beaches of Banyoles and Bellavista. And finally the path will take us to the idyllic Estalayer beach. The estimated time of the journey on foot, stopping at the most interesting points, is 5 hours, with a distance of 13.3 kilometres. The difficulty is medium. Section number 13, from Cala Turqueta to Cala Galdana. There is the ANE ME14 and the ZEPA ME12, alternating rocky cliffs interrupted by ravines and coves. From the dunes of the paradisiacal beach of Cala Turqueta, crossing wild olive and juniper woods, we will reach Macarelleta and Macarella, where many aquatic species coexist among the reeds of Santa Ana. At the end, at the Algendar ravine of Cala Galdana, we can see a diversity of birds, and we can explore caves and grottos. The estimated time of the journey on foot, stopping at the most interesting points, is 2.5 hours, with a distance of 6.4 kilometres. The going is easy. Section number 14, from Cala Galdana to Sant Tomàs. In front of the viewpoint of Sa Punta de Cala Galdana, we will follow the path until we come to the sandstone quarries of Santa Ponsa. There, the unspoiled corner of Cala Binjaneta precedes the idyllic Cala Mijana. Starting from this cove of dune vegetation flanked by cliffs, we will go across the croplands of Escalafat and the ravines of Treboluja and Binigaus. Here we can visit the cave of Escoloms, and we will end at Binigaus beach. The estimated time of the journey on foot, stopping at the most interesting points, is 4.5 hours, with a distance of 10.8 kilometres. The difficulty is medium. Stretch number 15, from Sant Tomàs to Son Bou. We will start at Sant Adiodat beach, next to the Binicudrell Pebble beach, and get to Sant Tomàs, full of coastal dune vegetation. Once at Talis, we will turn inland, through the farmland fields of the Son Bou wetlands, also known as Albufera de sus Conesies, the most important marshland area after the natural park. The path ends at the dune beach of Son Bou, the largest on the island, where we will find an early Christian basilica and dunes of high ecological value. The estimated time of the journey on foot, stopping at the most interesting points, is 2.5 hours, with a distance of 6.4 kilometres. The going is easy. Section number 16, from Son Bou to Calamporte. We will visit a necropolis located near the tunnel entrance of Son Bou, and will follow the path of the caves of Escap de sus Peñas, used in summer as holiday homes, until we reach a wall at the top. We will go down through the ravine of Ucalari to reach the cove. On top of the surrounding cliffs, the old batteries of 381mm Vickers cannons stand guard. Here we can make a diversion of about 2 kilometers to visit the Torre d'en Galmés. The exit of the path leads to Calamporter, where the ravine reaches the sea. The estimated time of the journey on foot, stopping at the most interesting points, is 3.5 hours, with a distance of 8 kilometers. The difficulty is medium. Section number 17, from Calamporter to Benisafua. We will start from the car park at Calamporter and go to Calas Coves, 2 coves embedded between cliffs, where a large necropolis is situated. The route enters through the ravine of Ses Peñas, and we will continue across the typical mosaic landscape bounded by dry stone walls to Canutelles. The beach has a pier and wetlands with sand dunes colonnaded by reeds. We will end at Captain Font after seeing centennial cottages. The estimated time of the journey on foot, stopping at the most interesting points, is 4.5 hours, with a distance of 11.8 kilometers. The going is easy. Section number 18, from Benisafua to Punta Prima. Walking from the quiet urban cove of Benisafua and following the road, we will walk across Calor Fondo to reach the dock of Calor d'Unfus. This pier is located next to the fishing village of Binibeca Bay. Later we will reach Binibeca Now, ideal for divers and with a small bar on the rocks. The road ends after Biniancolla at Songancho, where a tower dating from the 18th century stands. The estimated time of the journey on foot, stopping at the most interesting points, is 3.5 hours, with a distance of 8.1 kilometers. The going is easy. Section number 19, from Punta Prima to Cala Sant Esteve. The trail goes east from the urbanization of Punta Prima and leads to the 18th century tower of Alcalfar. From here we will see Salgar and Sillot de Storm, also as Color Roig. To the west we can see L'Illa de l'Aire, with a lighthouse as its main building. Here is the habitat of the black sargantana lizard, a millenarian endemic species of Menorca. We will end in Cala Sant Esteve, but first we will make a stop at the Torre d'en Penjat. The estimated time of the journey on foot, stopping at the most interesting points, is 2 hours 40 minutes, with a distance of 7.3 kilometers. The going is easy. Section number 20, from Cala Sant Esteve to Maó. We will continue climbing the side of the small pier, leaving behind Fort Marlborough and the entrance of the Castell de Sant Felip. Looking at La Mola and El Llatzeret from the coastal urbanization of Sol de l'Est, we will go across Cala Pedrera. We will visit the town of Es Castell and the tiny port of Calas Fonts. Finally, the path leads to a cultural tour through the centre of Maó, and we will finish at the end of its magnificent harbour. The estimated time of the journey on foot, stopping at the most interesting points, is 2 hours 20 minutes, with a distance of 6 kilometers. The going is easy. We are pleased to welcome you and thank you for your interest.